attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirishima here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya. He has just gone through 2 of the 3 events in the sports festival. And right now, they are currently making preparations and getting everything set up for the arena. That way they can actually have the final parts, or the final portion. The combat portion of the sports festival. While that is going on, you do have something else happening. Todoroki pulling Midoriya aside to try and ask him a bit of questions. What do you want, Todoroki? Midoriya. I'm having some trouble figuring something out. What is it? Well, to be honest, I don't know. Your quirk in particular, it's annoying me. Oh, really? How is it? Well, I've seen you take on countless amounts of damage, yet you just keep going. Hell, back out there during the race, you had a pipe going through your head and your heart, right? Well, yeah, technically. I ripped my heart into 2 along with my lungs, I think my liver, and I'm pretty sure my sense of hearing disappeared for a minute. I don't know, I think my eardrums exploded too. That's just my point. How do you keep coming back? Oh. Don't know. I guess it's just part of my abilities. Thing is, every time I sustain damage, my body immediately begins to react to it. And I just sort of regenerate. My quirk is classified technically as an emitter/mutation type quirk. In fact, the doctors call it very rare. Not only do I have 2 distinct quirks, but apparently it seems like, with one of them falling under the classification of mutation, they think it's more like a single-cell organism. I think I can understand it. So, like a multicellular single-cell organism, right? Kind of. Basically, as soon as my body detects any damage, it immediately kicks into overdrive to recover. Okay. I think I can at least understand that. Alright. I do have to go talk to someone else right now. So enough questions? Yes, I do have to go ask Kirishima a question. Really? And what would that be? Well, from what I know, from at least what I've heard, he dyed his hair. At least I think Mina brought it up once, so I kinda had to ask a question of him. Okay, what does hair dye have to do with anything? Well, I think his hair might be blonde. And if it is, it sort of adds to my theory that he might be All Might's son. Dude, you think he's All Might's kid? Are you serious? Oh. Oh. Sorry. That's still pretty funny to me. There's no way he's All Might's son, dude. Hell. Besides, even if he was, he wouldn't have a hardening quirk, right? Well, I don't know. It's just abnormal. Abnormal, you say. You're talking to the guy who can die and come back. You make a very convincing argument. Alright then. Now, while that is going on, you do have Midoriya, who actually does get a phone call from his father. Him then opening his phone and picking it up. Hello? Izuku, are you alright? I saw the sports festival so far. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. So, you saw me during the run, right? Yes. I was wondering about that. I didn't know that you could do that with your quirk. Well, I can't do that with mine. Stealing strength? Yeah. Well, I mean, my quirk is kind of like yours and Mom's. I see. Well, it's only natural that there's some differences, but even then. Kinda wish I had that ability. Yeah, Dad. Um, so that means you also saw the battle then. The cavalry battle. Mm-hmm. I wasn't aware that you were joking. Well, you were serious about all those girls around you. I'm kind of surprised, actually. There's also that one with pink hair. Hmm? Oh, you mean Hatsume? Yes. She seems to have, well, the same type of tendencies, if I believe so. Really? You think? Yeah, besides, I think Diane also might have something for you. Dad, don't be serious. Now is not the time for joking. Come on, Izuku. You've been like that ever since you were little. Hmm? Ever since we were... Oh, right, she redid his memories. Dad, come on, you're gonna embarrass me. Well, I did have a question. Okay. Exactly what's going on between you and all of them then? Well, that's sort of complicated. Long story short, I kind of met all of them before I got into UA. Saved one of them from a car accident. Saved one of them from going hungry and basically getting kicked out because they couldn't pay rent. It's a whole thing. Okay. You've always been a good kid. Thanks, Dad, but right now I have to go. I think they're about to start the final matches. Alright. Well, I'm rooting for you, son. Bye, Dad. Now, Midoriya hangs up the phone. And he then heads off. Meanwhile, we do actually have Diane, who is sort of just sitting in the arena, or in the area for Class 1A where they sit at. And she's just blankly staring off into space. Before Kendo actually does snap her fingers and try to get her attention. Hello? Huh? Earth to Deanne. Oh. Hi. What's up? You've been staring off into space for the last couple minutes. Are you okay? Oh. Yeah. I'm just sort of out of it right now. Out of it? That's an understatement. Listen, we all know what you're capable of physically, so were you holding back during the first half? Well, no, actually. I'm sort of fuzzy on it. Something's going on with my memories. What do you mean? Well, I'm beginning to remember different things. Things I didn't know about. It's kind of weird. Weird bad or weird good? I don't know. Well, my mother, I guess I could say in this scenario, I'm remembering things about her, things she taught me. Thing is, I just don't remember learning them. Did she mess with my memories too? Dan, what do you mean? Okay. She says, standing up, kind of pulling her over to a corner and trying to talk with her. Her mom taught her certain types of magic. However, she only thought she learned 2. However, that's just it. She feels like she's knows more, especially because she's starting to remember different elemental types. In fact, it's sort of weird. Being around her is triggering a memory. Whenever she saw her fight, well, earlier, and basically participate in at least one of the games, well, not games, during the cavalry battle, she felt something in her head trigger. She was reminded of a giant. Huh? A giant? That makes no sense. Here, let me just. Her bringing her finger up to Kendo's head and showing her. Oh. Wait. Wait a minute. Giants? Those things were real? They weren't just like a few feet taller than us, they were huge, like skyscrapers? Yeah, sort of like Mount Lady. Oh my god, that's been annoying me all day. Oh man. So wait. I'm confused then. You know more magic. Wait, actually, this gives me an idea. You know magic, right? Mm-hmm. Can't you just beam some of it into my head? I don't think that would be a good idea. Why? Well, it's sort of different. Think of it like making something. Or, actually, I think this might be easy. Think of it like brain surgery. A skilled surgeon who is trained in that field, they can perform it easily. However, a normal person who's never taken a class like that in their life, they wouldn't know what to do. They would just poke and prod and do more damage until they do some good. So, if she were to give her access to magic and let her learn it in less than a second, that could be quite damaging. Not only is the fact that if she misuses it, then it's going to be a lot worse. But come on, please. Please. No. Oh, come on, Deanne. How about this? If you let me learn it, I'll buy you some of those sweets you really like. You know the ones. Come on, please. Fine. I'll just go ask Midoriya. You know what? Actually, maybe I should tell him about your little secret. But no, please, he can't know about this yet. He already kind of worries about me enough. That's because he cares. Her kind of freezing up for a second. And she quickly blushes. Quickly blushes. Oh my god. You have a thing for Midoriya. Yeah. Fine. You sort of caught me. So, wait, how long? Uh, kind of recently. Kind of a long time. It's weird. Whenever I remove my heart, I don't feel emotion. Huh? Whenever I put it back in, I begin to feel emotion. So, whenever I sort of kept it in, I just started feeling more emotion. It's kind of odd. In fact, I'm running on almost 3 weeks, almost a month. So, you're getting your memories back the longer you keep your heart in. Okay, I think I can understand it. Now, with that being said, while these two were talking, a loud explosion can be heard. And it is quite chilling. Now, while these two were basically talking, you do have them turning up to look at the arena. Midoriya already had his brief encounter with Shinsho, where as soon as he walked into the ring and it showed their quirks on the monitors, brainwashing. He didn't talk to the guy. Immediately just walking over and basically picking the guy up before pushing him out of the arena. Shinsho basically trying to egg him on and get him to talk. Midoriya, though, admitted that he could have lost if he opened his mouth. But he deals with people talking shit all the time. Then there was Todoroki. With his matchup, he immediately ended it. He not only froze his opponent, but half of the Colosseum. Now, this actually sent Kendo and Diane running back down the hall. As soon as they got to the opening, they were able to look out and see exactly how much damage Todoroki just did. What? That's insane! You're joking. That can't be possible. Even by quirk standards, that guy's insanely powerful, right? It would seem. But even then, it doesn't seem like he emits magic. What do you mean? Wait. Sorry. To the naked eye, you can't see it. But everyone steadily, they emit magic. It can come off of your body, like steam, you could say. Or, sort of like how it's ice, or, well, cold breath is coming out of his mouth. Think of it like that. Slowly but steadily, you empty out magic from your body, even if you are unaware of it. However, certain individuals, aka you, Toru, and, well, certain other people, you emit it far more extremely. Meaning, you could be taught easily, yes, but even then, with the risk of you still being able to injure yourself without learning properly the techniques, you're gonna get yourself killed. It doesn't matter. Listen, I want to win. Sure, you can try and win, but even then, what next? You know what? Listen, I can teach you, yeah, but I'm not gonna just put it straight in your head. Okay, this is for your own protection. Diane walking away. Meanwhile, you do have somebody walk up and see Kendo, who is just standing there with a look of frustration and sadness on her face. If she doesn't know how to use magic, then there's a chance that she's going to lose. Damn it. She thought if she was able to actually hone that skill, able to just learn it quickly, she might have a chance at winning. Shit. With the way the pairings are, she's gonna have to go up against that guy. And it's not gonna be good. Now, with that being said, this is whenever a woman does actually walk up and begin to talk to Kendo. Why so glum, young Student? Wait, aren't you in the sports festival? Hmm? Oh, hello, ma'am. Yes. Ah, well, dry your tears. This is a very wonderful day for you. Yeah, but my friend just sort of told me I couldn't do something. Oh dear. Did she tell you that you couldn't win? Hmm? Uh, no, not really. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. She's trying to protect me. Hmm? Oh dear. Ah, protecting someone. That's the problem. Hmm? Well, that's where the problem usually starts. You think that what you're doing is the best for somebody, when in fact you're actually hurting them. So, exactly what is the problem? Sorry, ma'am, I don't think you could help me fix it. Also, it's kind of personal. Is it about that boy? Hmm? How did you. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's about that boy and honing your magical power, especially with your unusually raw talent. What? How did you even. Wait, magic? You're not one of them, are you? Oh, no, no. In fact, there's more to the magical world than even you know. In fact, take my hands, and I can give you a quick lesson. In fact, I've been meaning to also test this ability. If it works properly, then you'll know. I'll know? Yes. Take my hand and I can teach you. In less than a minute. Now, Kendo is reluctant. However, she reaches her hand out. Meanwhile, we'll cut back to the arena, where Bakugo is going up against Tetsu Tetsu. Bakugo is basically having to dodge around and try to blast away at Tetsu Tetsu. He is just throwing punches as much as he can, and throwing out explosions. Being able to catch Tetsu Tetsu by surprise whenever he does actually throw his hand out and immediately begin to blast away to side with just one hand. Tetsu Tetsu tensing up in pain for a second before he actually does begin to unharden. As soon as that does happen, Bakugo immediately just takes his opportunity, blasting Tetsu Tetsu as hard as he can directly in the stomach. Since his face was the first to unharden and he immediately noticed, Tetsu Tetsu being sent flying backwards and out of the arena, before smashing into a wall, and being knocked out, Bakugo being declared the winner. Then you do have the next match, which is Ida versus Mei. Now, this match, nothing really changes. It goes the exact same as in canon, with Ida being turned into a walking advertisement for different support gear. Then there is the next match, which I myself actually found to be a bit more interesting. Mina versus Ibarra. Two opposing quirks. One that can create walls, one that can destroy them. Now, this matchup is quite interesting, since as soon as it does begin, Ibarra, she immediately goes on the offensive, trying to take out Mina by wrapping vines around her legs. Meanwhile, you do have Mina, who immediately began by coating the ground around her in slime and beginning to try and slide around, trying by blasting out of her feet at full blast, while sliding. She's not moving at a good speed, but she's at least moving faster than trying to act like she's rollerblading. Now, she's going at a good pace, and Ibarra is trying to wrap vines around her. However, anytime she gets picked up, or simply is able to try and fling her out of the ring, acid immediately begins to melt through her vines. And she basically does have to remedy this by creating more and more. Basically, you can see how this fight goes. These two are a conundrum. Now, the fight does actually come to somewhat of a head. Whenever, as these two are going back and forth with destroying walls, creating them, and basically messing up the arena floor, Mina does actually begin to use some of her training, bringing out her finger and immediately doing one thing. She lets the acid in her finger build up a little bit before she finally does release it, basically making a pressurized version of an acid spitter, meaning that she wouldn't have to cup her hands the way she does in order to just get a steady stream to go in one direction. Now, as soon as this does go flying outwards, she's basically just spraying it all around, spraying it at the arena floor in front of Ibarra's feet. This actually does kick up some acid and get onto her uniform, beginning to melt the bottom half of her shoes and where her legs are. Now, cut to Mineta cheering Mina on. Cut back into the arena, where Mina contemplates shooting Mineta with a beam of acid. Now, as that does happen, Ibarra just has to keep backing up, and backing up. Before this happens, Mina just runs forward, sliding in, and does actually try and go for an attack. Now, as Mina does go for an attack, Ibarra does actually spin it on her, immediately just throwing her body weight up into the air as her vines begin by growing out of the arena floor. Mina trying to actually slow down and stop herself, trying to dig the back part of her heel into the arena floor as it's melting. But at this point, it might as well just be Play-Doh. And she does slide forwards as she falls backwards, and half her body is out of the arena. Now, that was quite an experience, and Ibarra does actually apologize for tricking her. Huh? Oh, dang it, I lost. Alright. Well, good fight at least. Listen, if you're gonna win, at least do it right. I don't want it to seem like I lost to just another loser, okay? What are you talking about? Of course I'm gonna try my best. Besides, you actually gave me a run for my money. Actually had that trap set up for like the last 5 minutes. Wait, really? Yeah, but with you constantly spraying around the arena, you sort of melted a lot of them. Well, good fight then, at least. Well, she says, throwing her hands up, putting them behind her head, and saying that she's gonna go then. Now, as she does actually walk away, there's whenever she does actually get back to the waiting room, where she is a bit angry at herself. Someone just beginning by tearing up and smashing at the table, before at least trying to dry her tears, trying to just calm down. Now, with that, we do have the next match. Momo versus Tokoyami, my bad. Now, this match does actually seem a bit more interesting. And there is whenever President Mike says to begin. As soon as they begin, Momo does one single thing. She creates a shield and immediately dodges to the left. As soon as that does happen, Tokoyami does order Dark Shadow to try and knock her out of the arena. And he does try and go for another attack, her being able to immediately block it with a shield and keep her ground, as Tokoyami does actually have Dark Shadow back away again. Momo beginning by creating a weapon and hiding it behind the shields. As soon as Dark Shadow does go on the offensive again, Momo reveals the weapon in her hand, a flare gun, shooting it directly into Dark Shadow's mouth. This surprising Tokoyami. Dark Shadow beginning by somewhat screaming out in pain and immediately beginning to shrink. Until he is less than the size of Tokoyami's hand, and Dark Shadow spits out the flare. Before he does actually try and go in for an attack himself, Momo swiftly just bashes him across the face with the shields, and knocking him onto the ground. He is left there, not only dazed because he got hit in the side of his temple, but with a concussion, being unable to stand, and she is declared the winner. Now, the next match. You have Kirishima versus Kendo. Now, as soon as the match does begin, they call for Kirishima. He arrives immediately. Then they're calling for Kendo. Kendo. Yes, Class 1A Kendo. Now, they give her a last and final call. If she does not show up within the next 3 seconds, then she is disqualified from the sports festival. Now, as soon as they begin the countdown, she arrives, basically informing them that sorry, she actually was in the bathroom. Oh, well then, do not apologize. We were unaware of your circumstance. Now, she immediately jumps into the arena, somewhat looking a bit more happy and cheerful, kind of confusing Diane, who does actually stand up and walk over by Midoriya, who has Ochako sitting next to her. Or sitting next to him, my bad. Now, Diane begins to whisper. Do you see it? Yeah. So it's not just me. It's strange. Her magical power. That mist she emits. It's gotten smaller, right? You're right. But that doesn't make any sense. Usually it's like spewing out. Like, what? Hot mist out of a shower head. But even then, it's smaller than I remember. Now, they immediately begin. And Kirishima does actually inform Kendo that he's very sorry, but he is gonna have to take her down. Oh, not you too. Huh? You're taking it easy on me because I'm a girl, right? Come on. In fact, I think even I could beat you, Mr. Two Quirks. You're one of the 3 in our class. I can already beat one of you. Wait, are you serious? Yep. Now, Kendo says, immediately enlarging her hand before smashing down on the arena floor. And that's whenever Midoriya has a shocked expression on his face, along with Diane. This being noticed whenever you hear an audible gasp come from Diane. And Ochako immediately stares at her, watching as she begins by having a piece of earth immediately fly straight for Kirishima out of the ground. Kirishima hardening up and immediately smashing his hand directly into the arena floor with One for All. His hand barreling in deep enough to where whenever he is hit with this piece of, rock, that he barely gets moved backwards before he just brings his hand back up and tries to rush in. Now, the battle goes somewhat like this. Kendo is trying to fight offensively with her giant hands, being able to grab one of Kirishima's arms and usually either smash him into the ground or simply just try and use her newfound magical abilities, which is quite surprising. especially whenever you consider the fact that she has no prior training. Yet the way she's moving and the way she's acting, some of these don't even look familiar to her. Are they more advanced techniques? No, that can't be right. Now, Diane then watches as Kendo does one thing. Kendo, after being able to send Kirishima flying with a giant punch straight to his arms, watches as Kirishima slides backwards, and his arms do at least begin to show that they are bleeding. Kirishima is just looking down at his hands for a second, confused, before looking back up. Seeing that Diane, Kendo's knuckles are made of metal. President Mike going on to announce, "What the heck?" And an amazing uproar. It seems like the Class 1A student, Kendo. She has discovered something new about her quirk. Or, wait, Mr. Aizawa, is this new? That's strange. He didn't know that she was capable of this. Okay, so it is new. Wow. Alrighty then. As the match continues on, watching as Kendo's giant hand immediately retreats, and she actually does take a stance. Watching as her body immediately does at least look like it's growing a bit in size. Kendo immediately just taking a deep breath in before her entire body turns into Tetsu's hardened steel. Monoma saying that that's bullshit. How is she copying Class 1B? How is she copying my quirk? Now, with that, Midoriya is left completely shocked before turning to Diane and asking what did she do? Me? I didn't do anything. She asked me about this earlier and I told her no. Midoriya, this isn't me. Okay, that's not good. Now, with that, the rest of the match goes like this. She challenges Kirishima to a 1v1. No enhancements, just pure physical strength. She wants to test out this new power she has. Now, with that, Kirishima agrees. And he immediately rushes forwards, going to fight her. As soon as he does actually punch downwards into her gut, he finds that he immediately just broke some of the skin on his hands and on his knuckles, as she immediately came back up and tried to smack him directly in the face. Kirishima being able to back away before immediately trying to sock her across her own face. Now, the fight went back and forth with just a pure raw strength punching match for roughly about 3 minutes, before Kirishima was able to actually sock her hard enough with an uppercut that her magic began to at least fade. Now, Kirishima, as soon as he did give her the uppercut, he went for a punch across the face with his left hand. That brief second whenever Kendo was unhardened or unsteel, he was able to hit her and send her flying out of the arena. As soon as he did, he was actually very concerned. As soon as it was called that she was out, he immediately ran over, and Kendo got up trying to wipe away at her face, while also somewhat dazed herself. What happened? Oh, you don't remember? Huh? Remember? Remember. I think I do. I was made of metal? Wait, what are you talking about? You don't remember using your own quirk or making an advancement or something? Not really. It's kind of fuzzy. Okay, that's very weird. But either way, you gave me a run for my money. Now, the next match. We have Ochako versus Toga. This match does actually go exactly how you would think it would go. Toga and Ochako, their physical differences in strength and cannon and speed are somewhat less likely here. Toga can run around and jump around and do all this crazy stuff. However, Ochako, she's the one with a quirk that's useful in this scenario. Whenever Toga does actually try running in and trying to disable Ochako's hands, she's able to immediately flip her wrist and touch down on her forearm with her other hand. Now, with that, Toga immediately gets airborne. However, she does actually try and pick up Ochako. As soon as that does happen, Ochako, she just does one thing. She swings her legs up and actually does somewhat kick Toga in the gut, before just throwing her in a direction. Now, Toga gets sent moving that way, and she cannot really stop herself, trying to reach out and grab for anything, trying to grab at the air but finding that that's useless. Now, she is eventually released and she falls outside the arena. Since, yeah, that was a very swift and easy match. Now, as you do have the next match, it is actually kind of interesting. President Mike saying that they should all make their bets now. And Aizawa, he bets on Movie Star, saying that that boy is going to take down Todoroki, especially since that boy refuses to use one side of his quirk. Now, this is actually very interesting to President Mike, who wants to say that the son of the number 2 hero might actually prevail here. Now, the match does begin, and Todoroki immediately goes to use his ice, trying to end this quickly, while Midoriya, immediately using his snatch ability, he just presses off of the ground, with an invisible hand, you could say, being able to get up high in the air, and actually land on this little slide, immediately sliding towards Todoroki as he actually does press off with his feet, rushing towards him and trying to smack away at him. Todoroki bringing up his hand to try and actually throw more ice his way, that immediately catching Midoriya and freezing over the bottom of his body, everything underneath his waist. Midoriya, just with his hand outstretched, barely even being able to try and reach out towards Todoroki. It appears that this fight is over. Funny you say that, Midoriya says, bringing his hands back down and immediately just kicking out with as much force as he can with his leg. That being where ice hits Todoroki directly in his arms, body, and actually some almost hits him in the face, before Midoriya just kicks out with his other leg. Oof, that's like the worst part of getting an ice bath. Ugh, anyways, where were we? How did you just... Oh please. You think my Hunter's Fest is only about taking strength? Bold of you to assume I didn't have some of my own from training. Now, with that being said, Midoriya and Todoroki begin a battle. And people do actually begin to see the full extent of Midoriya's quirk. Todoroki trying to freeze over the arena and try and just take Midoriya down. However, there's what Midoriya does. He acts like a feral and wild animal, being able to punch through any of the ice and immediately get free. There's even the fact that Midoriya was frozen solid, and whenever he did try and break free, his left arm and half of his left body basically immediately shattered whenever his body hit the ground. And Midoriya immediately just regenerated before just throwing his body up into the air and smashing it down again, before being able to just rip away the ice at his face and head. Now, with that, Midoriya basically informed Todoroki that he's going to be getting a little bit more serious now, before being able to immediately rush forwards and try and blitz him. Todoroki just going to blast away ice with his left hand. However, Midoriya does something different. Whereas Todoroki does blast down towards the arena, Midoriya heads up high, heading up into the air before using his quirk, throwing his hand outwards and immediately being able to pull Todoroki forwards. Now, as soon as that does happen, Midoriya is able to pull Todoroki up into the air, being able to grab him as he's still moving upwards. You know, Todoroki, there's one thing you forgot about this all. Midoriya cocking back his hand and smashing him directly into the face. Todoroki trying to actually grab away at him with his left hand and try and freeze his body again. Him being able to successfully do so before actually using Midoriya's body to smash into the arena. And there is what you see. Midoriya is broken into a lot of different pieces and scattered about. Many different people shocked at exactly how that just happened, as the biggest piece does actually begin to move and twitch around. Midoriya regenerating the top half of his body as he actually does begin to sit up, and smash away at the ice covering his legs. You know, Todoroki, again, I said that wouldn't work. Listen to me. You're not the only one who has a pretty good quirk. So, I'm gonna do something. And you better pay attention. You know, it's funny. How many people do you think are in this arena? Todoroki immediately realizing what Midoriya just said. Oh no. Him trying to judge the distance between the front row of people. Or at least the first couple rows. How many people is that? How far away is it? Midoriya immediately just bringing his hands up before activating his own magic instead of his quirk. As soon as he does that, he begins to drain strength from everything around him. He then tries piggybacking his quirk off of it, feeling that his range just increased. Instead of a regular, where it would be 75 feet, he feels it jump up to 200. What the hell? This power. I haven't felt it before. Midoriya just growing 3 times his own size. Before looking back at Todoroki, who goes to blast a wall of ice at Midoriya once again. Midoriya being able to actually shatter it and immediately blow it away. As soon as that does happen, Midoriya's hand immediately gets sent flying off and towards a wall. This being where Todoroki immediately misjudges the situation. Shit. The hell? You know, Todoroki, there's one thing that no one ever really understands about my quirk. Midoriya snapping his finger and immediately just beginning to say that with his quirk, he feels a certain amount of pain whenever him ripping his finger off. Before saying, whenever his body takes damage, he always feels that pain. It's like that every single time. Before Midoriya just gets closer and begins to rush in, smashing away at Todoroki's ice walls, and just beginning by just barreling them away out of him, left, right, over and over again. Shouting off that every single time he gets hurt, injured, or even feels death, it just gets worse and worse and worse. The pain he feels doesn't go away, it just intensifies. In fact, if he's being honest, there's one thing that pain tells him. It's that he's still alive. Midoriya smashing away with as much force as he can in his next hook. As soon as he does, he breaks his hand again. And this is when Todoroki almost gets sent flying out of the arena with that one. Midoriya throwing out his hand and using his quirk, pulling Todoroki directly into his hand. As Midoriya goes on stating that if there's one single thing that he knows, is that pain, it isn't there to deter you from something. It's there to warn you that if you attempt it, you know shit's gonna be bad. You know that's gonna be challenging. However, it's there to tell you not to give up. Midoriya beginning to smash Todoroki into the ground, telling him now. He is going all out, so he expected the next thing from his opponent to be to go all out. Now, Todoroki, go ahead and use that quirk of yours. Are you really going to let your father determine the rest of your life for you? What? You heard me. Use your power, Todoroki. Otherwise, you're always going to live in your father's shadow. The arrogant hero. The ice boy who's doing something because daddy says he should. Hell, if you really wanted to rebel against your father, you know what you should have done? You never, Midoriya lifting him up and smashing him back down into the ground. Should have joined UA. Smashing him into the ground over and over and over again. Before Todoroki finally does one thing. Fire lights on his right side, and he immediately brings up his hand and blasts it directly into Midoriya's face. Midoriya letting go of Todoroki as he actually does back up and begin to somewhat scream. Midoriya's scream quickly turning into a laughter. Looking up as he says, "There we go! Finally! Finally, Todoroki! Come on! Fight me at your best!" Todoroki trying to blast away at fire, and Midoriya just rushes through it. Todoroki doing so as you watch Midoriya go somewhat into a feral rage. Midoriya smashing away any ice Todoroki throws at him and running through any flames. Now, at this point, you do have the final results. Todoroki's absolute zero attack. Or, well, I want to say the ultimate cancel. I don't know which one would be better. I think it's called absolute zero. Anyways, now, Todoroki does actually bring out his hands and try and blast this attack at Midoriya, who rushes in and goes to throw a punch at it. Now, whenever he does do this, his arm immediately breaks off after the first punch is thrown. And he does actually come out to grab at Todoroki with his other one. This being where a loud explosion can be heard in the arena. And many different people are looking in to try and see what just happened. The pro heroes are not able to intervene. However, they are able to at least stop debris from hitting civilians inside the stands. Now, with that being said, they are all shocked at this power, and they're trying to look for a victor. And the flames and ice do begin to at least disappear, along with the actual smoke in the arena, as you do have what you see. You see what seems to be part of a skeleton, or at least most of it. There it is standing there. What seems to be a skeletonized creature standing in the middle of the arena, as it begins to regrow muscle mass. People just watching as its hands begin to regrow before it just drops over onto its hands and knees. Before you at least begin to watch respiratory systems, organs, and everything else start to grow back. Before you actually begin to hear coughing, and a very, very audible amount of pain. Until Midoriya does actually regrow his skin, taking a deep breath and trying to recover. Looking around, he doesn't see Todoroki. Looking up to see that he's outside of the arena. Now, with that, Midoriya actually does realize that he just won. However, that is the most amount of damage he just took with his quirk. Second most, only to exploding. Every amount of skin and tissue he had just went away with that attack. He should have been sent flying. Why wasn't he? Trying to look down, and finding that, well, it doesn't make sense. He's still standing here. Was he just planted here? Come on. Now, what Midoriya doesn't realize was the amount of muscle mass he began to grow was intensely heavy and dense. Whenever Todoroki actually did blast away at that attack, Midoriya was able to push Todoroki backwards. And the amount of force was able to actually blast him out back away from the arena. Now, with that being said, I do believe I'm going to have to edit this part and part 24 to say one of three, since this is almost an hour long already. Now, with that, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night.